Whiteland and New Whiteland, they are definitely not very big, but I mean, that's really kind of the point. Hey everyone, this morning I'm walking around in New Whiteland. I'm actually in Proctor Park, which is a super nice little park. Playground here, a nice pond with a fountain, walking trails. So I'm just taking a walk on the trails just to talk about New Whiteland and Whiteland, Indiana. And this is a place that comes up occasionally when we're talking with people relocating here to the Indy Metro, but not as often really as I really thought they would. So I think that's probably going to change over the years. It's a place that's going to start popping up on more people's radar. And there's really multiple reasons why that could be, but we're going to go over 3 reasons why I think Whiteland and New Whiteland, while they're not exactly popping off at a crazy rate, I think it's going to begin to increase over time and it's going to get more noticed. So 3 of those reasons here in this video. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Living in Indianapolis channel. Welcome back. If you've been here before, if you haven't been here, welcome to you. If you have questions about New Whiteland or any place, any city or town around the Indianapolis Metro, make sure that you reach out to us any way that you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back when it comes time for you to move to a place like New Whiteland or Indianapolis or any of the surrounding cities and towns. So, all right, so in Proctor Park, and talking about 3 reasons why maybe you should consider Whiteland and New Whiteland, or just 3 reasons why I think a lot of people are probably going to begin considering these places. So first of all, I'm in New Whiteland with Proctor Park here, and Whiteland is just barely to the south of here. There's a difference between the 2 towns in the name, and you've got some, I'd say, administrative differences between the 2 towns as well. But if you were to come through here, it's probably almost impossible to tell a major difference between the 2 towns. They're really lumped together as one for the most part. It's not like there's some giant rivalry, at least that I'm aware of, between New Whiteland and Whiteland. They share the same high school, Whiteland High School, which is just off to my south, right next to US 31, which is a growing school. In fact, New Whiteland and Whiteland are growing, so Whiteland High School, which is a really nice place, it's, at least the time this video is being made, it's got a big expansion that they're adding to it. A friend of mine is actually a teacher there, and he really likes it and enjoys it quite a bit, thinks it's a great place. So both of them together, at least they're considered together, but Whiteland is actually much older. So it's been around since the mid-1800s, and then New Whiteland came about when US 31 was rerouted, and I guess it kind of cut off or cut through Whiteland, and then New Whiteland was formed in the mid-1900s. So both of them have been around. It's a little bit of history with them. But like I said at the beginning of the video, they're not very big. They're both over 5,000 people each. So we're talking 5,500 in New Whiteland, 5,500 in Whiteland. So each as an individual, they're not gigantic. Oh, I'm walking right by some geese. Those things can be aggressive. So they didn't get me. But back to the population. So it's not like each one of them are huge, but when you combine the 2, it's not too bad. So that is kind of the point with Whiteland and New Whiteland. I'd say number 1 reason why people would even consider moving out this way is that they're looking for a feel like this. So it's definitely a small town vibe. You're not gonna get just overrun with entertainment. You're not gonna get overrun with all the people that would come with entertainment and the things to do. You're not overrun with traffic. Of course, that comes at a little bit of a cost. You're also not tripping over parks or major things to do, although you have kids' sports and kid activities plenty of those things to choose from nearby, if not in Whiteland, really close by. But also with some of those other things, very close by. So if you need extra parks, like instead of this Proctor Park, I mean, of course you could wear this place out. You can't come here every single day for years upon years. Probably need a little bit more variety than that. Well, Franklin is just to the south, Franklin, Indiana, which is a super, super cool small town. And one that I think that flies under the radar a little bit, but again, probably not for long. As Indianapolis and the whole metro expands, it's pulling these places in closer. Not mileage-wise, of course, that doesn't change. It can't change. But the consideration as to how far away it really is, that certainly does change. So you can travel straight up to Greenwood. I mean, just a couple of minutes to the border of Greenwood, and then everything that you find in Greenwood. But it's not like you're cut off and you don't have anything here in Whiteland or New Whiteland. If you go up and down US 31, there's plenty of shopping, all the little things that you would need on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to drive 30 minutes to get to a grocery store or anything like that. But that first reason is just like the smaller town feel, the smaller community, and understand that it comes with less things, but that's exactly the point. It's exactly what we're looking for. So when you couple the small town feel and people like that, the next thing you're probably looking for is, I'd love some affordability. I'd love something that I don't have to pay an arm and a leg for. Now, you may want to pay an arm and a leg. If you want to pay for a monstrously expensive home, whatever that means to you, that could be $500,000, could be $3 million. You're actually probably not going to find all that many in Whiteland or New Whiteland. You can find a mix, since both have been around for some time. You can find some older homes and clusters of neighborhoods that are especially really central. When you get close to US 31, some older neighborhoods are sprinkled in through there, but you're going to find, given that they're growing, more new construction in Whiteland and New Whiteland. A pretty good amount, actually. And most of the new construction going in, both the towns, I would say when you compare it to the rest of the Indianapolis metro, it's of the affordable variety. So you're talking in the 300s, in the 400s, and you're not really seeing much over the top of that. So you got that small town vibe, you've got a little more open space, you're not on top of each other. Even though the neighborhoods themselves, in a new construction neighborhood, the homes can be very close, they can be, but even that is the definition that one person would give, and another person's like, I don't really care. I don't feel like I'm on top of my neighbor. You should see where I used to live. It'd be that kind of conversation. Or I used to live in an apartment downstairs, or somebody's upstairs and somebody on either side of me, so I feel like I've got plenty of space. That's a subjective thing, and it's up to the person. But affordability is obviously a really big deal, and it's becoming more of a problem. It's a problem across the country, and it's becoming more of a problem here around Indianapolis too. So if you go into places like Carmel and Fishers and Westfield and Zionsville, you take the same house that you find here in Whiteland and New Whiteland, you put it there, you could probably add $100,000 to it. And that's a wild generalization. Maybe it's a little less, maybe it's more, but it's probably fairly accurate just because of that address. But somebody considering a place like New Whiteland or Whiteland, they're probably not going to consider a place like Carmel, Fishers, or Westfield anyway. Especially Westfield's growing too fast. It has too much going on. It's too crowded. And this just isn't. And will it ever be as crowded as those cities? Maybe. It might be. I mean, there are certainly, when you compare the whole world in the 1970s up till now, the population of the world has doubled. So in another 50 years, will the population of the world double? Probably again, yeah. So it's going to get more crowded everywhere. But you're talking that far down the line. So you right now, for the next 10 years or 20 years, this is probably still going to stay pretty close to the same feel. So affordability, looking all over the map, it seems like this one hasn't come up as much in those conversations, like I said before, but it's starting to a little more. here's that third reason why these places are popping up on people's maps, is because they're actually still on the map. So the misconception oftentimes when you're gonna move to a small town that you're gonna be out in the middle of nowhere, and there are places where the mileage is pretty hard to get over. So like Franklin, which isn't that far south, but it's far enough south to when I talk to people about Franklin is that, look, Franklin you're gonna need to really like, because if you live in Franklin, you are going to live in Franklin. That means your day-to-day, everything is gonna involve Franklin. And you're gonna come to Indianapolis some, but you may not come as much as you think you will. And then there are places like Columbus, Indiana, which is even further south than Franklin, and the story is exactly the same. I mean, there's no way you're gonna spend all that much time in Indianapolis if you live in Columbus. You just won't. That's the reality of it. The mileage is too big. But New Whiteland and Whiteland, I think it gets over the top of that border. It's now really close to Franklin, which is cool. It's really close to Greenwood, which is really cool, and everything that it has. And then actually to get into Indianapolis, it's not that bad. So let's say you wanted to go to a Colts game, just as an example, because that's gonna be getting you right into downtown. So put in Lucas Oil Stadium, and this has probably got a ton of reflection on it, but looking at it here, we're talking not that much. A couple different options. You can go straight up US 31. You can also go just straight up I-65, which is over to the east, and you're looking at right now 25 minutes. 25 minutes going up I-65. Now, can that change? Yeah, for sure. I mean, there could be more traffic, and as you get closer to Indianapolis, it's going to get thicker. But usually going into a Colts game, that's on a Sunday or a Monday night, and the traffic around the whole metro at that point has really died down. Not that it's bad anyway, but it has died down. And until you get right outside the stadium where you're parking, that's about the only time you can really run into some issues that take a while. Sometimes it could take you 25 minutes to get to Lucas Oil, but an additional 20 minutes or so to find a parking place. And obviously you got to walk into the building too. So your drive may take you less time than actually getting in and finding your seat. Probably will, actually. So if you're going to downtown to do something else, it's going to be less time. So the distance from here, while years and years ago it seemed like it was kind of far, but man, it's really not. That's 14 miles, Lucas Oil Stadium from here. And to get into downtown Indy, you are in downtown Indy when you get in there to Lucas Oil. So New Whiteland and Whiteland have been on the map for a long time, but I think they're probably going to be more on the map. Just, I mean, really in the view of a lot more people as the years go by. So there are other reasons you might want to consider them, but of course there are reasons why you might not want to consider them. All of what I just told you could be the exact reasons why you wouldn't consider a place like New Whiteland or Whiteland. But if you have questions about either one of these, whether it's new construction, what's happening with new construction in this area, how to find a builder in this area, or any of the existing homes, and then just in general about the area, then make sure you reach out. We'll catch you in the next one.